I've built my first 30 pounds of muscles without even knowing how to deadlift, squat, or even bench properly. And the mistake that I've made might just be what you need to hear. I've started working out way before Instagram even existed. So I had no idea of movements and everything. What I would see on magazines or anywhere actually would just be images of someone being here and then someone being there. That was a bench press. Someone being here and someone being here. Bicep curl. Pretty simple. So I would just get to the gym, see the image, be like, all right, arm down, arm up, that's a bicep curl. I would grab dumbbells, down, up, bicep curls. Now that's been made a little crazy over years, and I've heard many people freak out over some little minor detail. There's something that most trainers don't want you to know, and it's probably the opposite of what I'm supposed to be telling you. Now picture this, you get to the gym, you're ready. You're like, I'm about to start my superhero transformation. I want to go from wherever I am now to my superhero level physique. I want to level up, I want to be a Super Saiyan. Congratulations, that's amazing. Now you get into the gym, you grab a dumbbell, a barbell, whatever you want, it doesn't matter, but you just grab a pair of weights, and then you're like, where's my wrist at? What should I do with that? Should I bend more, less? Should I have more range of motions, less range of motions, more of this, less of that? Is my arm in the right direction? Is my pinky pointing outward or inward? Does that really matter? Let me Google that. And now, turns out you've been in the gym for about 30, 40 minutes even, maybe more than that, and you maybe have done what? 2, 3 exercises, because you spent most of your time on your phone, wandering on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, name it, Googling perfect bicep curls. And then you have a long edited video of like green and red and what not to do and what to do with eat this and not that and do this and don't do that. And those are nice and those are fun. And I personally like those. But I'm 18 years into my journey. Now it's much different when you just get going. My first year of working out was pretty nonsensical. Basically, someone at the gym I was working out at just gave me a sheet, but back then it was not even a PDF. It was like a handwritten thing because I told the person, I don't know what I want to do. And be like, all right, let's do a chest and tricep and back and bicep in whatever day. And you're going to do 3 times bench press, 3 times push downs, 3 times whatever, And then on the far right hand side of it, she would draw a little, people, little person. And then the little stick person had their arm here and then their arm here, and that was a bicep curl. I'm like, okay, that's a bicep curl. Because it was just like, all right, I've been paid by the gym to give you whatever, it doesn't really matter. So good luck with all of that. And then I had to go my way and figure out stuff. Turns out the sheet that she gave me probably got lost 5 minutes later because I had no idea what was any of that. What I would do is just look at the people around me and be like, that machine looked fun. It have me go from here to there. And this is what I've done. And this is exactly how I've built from 135 pounds to about 165 to 170 pounds. My first initial 30 pounds of muscle, which was over 10 years, I had no idea of perfect form. I had no idea of tempo. I had no idea of range of motions and what it meant. It did not matter to me. My goal was get on the machine, use that in the however proper form I need. Now obviously I'm not saying get in the gym, grab a heavy ass pair of dumbbell and do whatever you want with it and you'll be fine. I don't want to get the email of like, I've injured myself because you told me not to care about my squat. No, that's not what I mean. The good thing about that, going to the gym, is that they have machines. And they now have, back then too, but they have many different machines that hit specific muscle group and so like targeted that you can't miss anything. Now, if you're a client of mine, or you were, or you are, or you'll be, hello. It's pretty simple. You will learn how to do these movements. I'm not going to just be like, all right, do whatever you want when you do it. No, because now you get into a proper, training system, right? And that proper training system allows me to make sure that you do most of the exercises right. If you go your own way, if you're maybe scared of the gym, if you don't know where to start, if you don't know what to do, form should not be something that stops you. Now, everyone today wants you to believe that everything's wrong. You need me in order to do the bent over properly. I've had people on calls in the past that I do online coaching mainly, and I've had clients being like, well, I think I need someone with me to show me the proper technique, because I do want to grow the muscle. I'm like, yeah, sure, pay 3 times the amount if you want for someone to just be like, back straight, pull, and then you'll pull and be like, all right, tuck your arms in. And basically it's just gonna cost you more, and it's fine, it's nice, but it's not what you need unless you're already well on your way and you know every exercises. This is not what you need. Your body doesn't care that much about proper form. I don't think I go too deep in a squat as today. As of like my workout that I've done this morning, I'm pretty sure I can go even deeper in my squat. My legs are a massive weakness of mine, not gonna lie, but still, they grew. It is the hardest thing for me to grow, yet they grew. They grew mostly out of leg extensions and leg curls and whatnot. This is, for me, much harder to go to failure and to progressively overload on each and every single workout than it is for, a bicep curl or a press or or bench press or bent over row. Because failing on a overhead press is pretty simple. You're just gonna press until your body's just like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. But failing in a squat is very difficult. I would have to stay stuck on the bottom part of it to have reached failure. And I hate that feeling on a squat, so, it is what it is. What your body cares about is your progression. It is making sure that each and every single workout, you're challenging yourself. And let's take the bicep curl as an example, because this is the easiest one to do. So if you go from here all the way down to all the way up, shoulders back, elbow slightly forward, and you go down and then you go up, that's great. Love it. Perfect. If you're able each and every week to increase your weight, that's perfect. If you do a little thing with it, right? That's okay. That's okay. You do you. It's all good. Because even if you do a little thing with it, and you kind of let it slightly go, and you bring it back up, and you let it slightly go. Well, if you're reaching your maximum capacity with that, and if you're improving on the load, and improving on the reps, and improving on the sets, awesome. You have the foundation of everything. You're there consistently, you're lifting the weight, and you're reaching failure on whatever exercise and however you'd like to do it. If you follow me on YouTube, you've probably seen me a bunch of times make videos, and I'm gonna do them in the future, and I'll still do them from time to time, where I do videos of like the perfect posture for whatever exercise. So I know I am part of the issue, but when I do these things, it is mostly for the person that's been doing the exercise for an extended period of time. It's been at a gym consistently doing an exercise, and they probably have done it somewhat wrong. They are me 10 years into my journey, 10 years later, when I opened the internet, I was like, oh shit, that's how you do a bench press? Now I'll try that. And then I went and I tried, and I was like, this is great. This is different. Now let me do this consistently to failure, adding weights and reps over time. And now that unlocked another thing. Because the thing is, injuries, all of that happens when we are dumb. Not saying you're dumb all the time, but sometimes we're dumb. We're guys. We're gonna be dumb. You get to the gym and you see someone, sometimes even smaller than you are, lifting twice the amount of weight, and you're like, my dude, I'm gonna do that too. And then you try it, and then you're like, oh my God, I hurt my shoulder. Yeah, most likely, because we were dumb. You know, it was ego lifting, you did something wrong and you went too heavy too fast and all of these beautiful things. It's rarely because form was terrible. Form got terrible because of the way you used. If you use proper, not perfect, proper technique, you won't injure yourself. So how should you go about that? How should you go about the progression? Now that we live in a world of knowledge, where we live in a world where everyone knows everything about anything, you should go about progression simply. First, if you're not working out, if you haven't even lifted a thing in the past, you know, well, this video is for you, most likely. But if you've never lifted anything, just lift something. Things will happen from you lifting something, you know? It doesn't matter if the dumbbell that you lift, you know, you're a bit too high and you're a bit too low and you're a bit shaky and something's weird and you're pushing kind of like, oh, I'm not too sure what my shoulders and elbows should be doing. Doesn't matter. Push the weight, you know, grab something that challenges you but is not like terribly too heavy and just push it. You know, if your bicep curl when you start kind of looks like this, you know, I don't care. Did I say it? I don't care. You just need to be moving. If you do that consistently over time, you'll grow still some muscle. You know, it's gonna happen. And then you'll be like, I don't think I'm doing something right. And you'll look next to you and you'll see a big guy being like, you good, bro? And you'll be like, I'm good, bro. And you're like, okay. Oh, that's different. Now that's different. And you're going to do that. And now you've learned something. And you're going to apply that each and every month, year, workout, doesn't really matter. Each time you get to the gym and you move, to change, to go through your progress, to go through your superhero transformation, you're gonna learn things here and there. Goku did not get a Kaioken on the first day, you know? His first Kaioken was shit. And then he perfected it, and then he went 20 times Kaioken. Maybe you don't know what I'm talking about, but Google it. Then you're gonna grow, then you're gonna build muscle, you're gonna get better, you're gonna build confidence in the gym. Your friends will start asking you what you've been doing, and you'll be like, well, you know, I've been hitting the gym, I don't think it's perfect, but I do it. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I've been scared of it because I've seen this guy online say do that, and then how do you do this? And you'll be like, well, listen to Joe, he knows what he's talking about. You shouldn't care about that, just get to the gym and lift. And they'll be like, all right, I'll just get to the gym and lift. And they'll do that. And they'll be happy. And you'll go with them because they're your friends. And now you, having progressed into everything, having learned the mistakes you've done and all what you've done, now you know. You're with your friends and you're like, well, maybe you should, you know, try it like that. And we're like, all right, yeah, you're right. And you become, you know, the guru superhero. Here's what people don't want you to know. Sometimes we want trainers things being complicated a bit. I'm sorry, guilty. So sometimes we're gonna throw a little complication in the mix of things, just to make, you know, you have a gap of knowledge. Being like, oh, what's going on here? I do it this way. You know, he's made it like 5 times more complicated than it should be. Maybe I should do it that way. I'm having a problem in my competence, in my knowledge. I'll probably need to hire him because if I have just one problem with a bicycle curl, I have a major problems with everything else. I'll hire the guy because he's going to tell me everything. And everyone's happy. Well, we are. But the reality of the things, if you're a beginner, if you're even intermediate, you know, you don't need this here. This is not what you need. This is what you need. Movements. And it doesn't matter. All you have to do is move and progress. Once you're just doing it, you can improve on things. And then you're gonna reach a point where you need me. You're gonna reach a point where you're like, well, you know what, that dude online that I, you know, talks about superhero stuff sometimes, maybe I'm at the point where I should look into him a bit and do a bit more of what he does because he looks like a superhero. I don't know, thank you. But for now, get to a gym, lift. If you don't know what to lift, if you don't know what to do, even on that part, there's a bunch of ebooks you can download. There's a bunch of free stuff that I have. There's a boot camp that you can do. The boot camp is not an overcomplication on anything. You know, it's a program. It's video exercises of me most likely doing the exercise of like, here's A, here's B, do that, you know, and then you're just gonna progress onto this and move on to the next thing. My big take on this is that I grew most of my muscles without knowing I was growing them, you know? So just get to a gym, move, and tell me later how it went.